Okay, you guys, we are going to be talking today about step number 11 in our sweatshirt project. If we read step number 11, it says pin the hood liner to the hood as follows. Right sides together, match at center seam and double notches, and the curves should go in the same direction. So at this point, we've just completed step number 10, which involved you pinning and sewing the curves of each of the hood pieces. So remember that we have sewn the right sides together, so the good sides are sandwiched inside here. And on this piece, it's much more obvious that the right sides were pinned together, or the correct sides are on the inside. So both pieces should look like that. Now moving on to step number 11, it says that we need to pin the right sides together. So what we need to do is take our liner and we're going to turn it right side out. And you're going to want to push out that center seam so that you can see your curve. We're going to lay it next to our main color piece. Now, because we have to pin them with right sides together, we're going to take our liner piece and we're just going to put it inside of our hood main color piece. And they should fit together nicely because they should be the same size. So you're going to sandwich those in there as best you can, and you're going to want to move it right along here, right along that curve to push those two pieces together. Now the first thing we want to do is make sure we have right sides together, which we do, they're touching. And then we want to start by matching at the center seam. So the center seam is this seam up here at the top of the curve of your hood. So we're going to start there, and you are going to match up this seam here with this seam here. So when you flip them over, you should be able to see both of them in the same place. You want these edges to be lined up as much as possible as you pin these two pieces together. So we're going to start by pinning with this pink seam to the right. We're going to put a pin in to hold that. And then you want to push this other seam for your liner the other direction. So in my case, it would be to the left. We're going to put a pin in there. That'll reduce the bulk when you go to sew it, and when you're wearing it, there won't be one bulky seam. They'll both be spread out. From that center seam here, we are going to work our way down this side and then down this side to pin them together. And our directions remind us that we should match at the center seam and the double notches. So our center seam is matched up, and now we're going to match at the double notch. So you have your notch here, you have your notch on the liner, and those should meet up perfectly. And we're going to put a pin in to hold that together. Once you have that, you're going to want to add a few pins just to hold everything while you're sewing. And then we're going to continue on to the end of our piece here. So from the notch down to the end, we're going to put pins in all the way down. Remember too that you want to really make sure that these two edges are lined up straight. You may need to peel one of them back and shift them a little bit as you're working, but you want them to be as perfect as possible. So once I have that side done, I'm going to move on to this side and do the exact same thing. So we're going to start with the notch and put a pin in there. And then we're going to put our filler pins in just to fill this space, matching our edges all the way down. So once you have your pins all the way down, you are ready to sew the seam. And this will become the arch of your hood piece. So you want to make sure that you have pins all the way up here to the center seam and then all the way down the other side, and then you're ready to sew.